What is a perfect moment? Is it a note of music, a line of poetry, or is it this? You are witnessing the final line of a flawlessly executed algorithm, a biological override command, a God algorithm written in the language of physics and neurology, designed for a single purpose: to force a system shutdown. This is not the story of a fight. This is the anatomy of a perfect system crash. And to understand it, we must first understand the lie it is built upon. The human brain is the most powerful processing unit on the planet. It is also efficient. And its efficiency is a vulnerability. The code for a head kick is never aimed at the head. That is a fool's gambit. The initial target is the opponent's cognitive bandwidth. An elite striker becomes a neurological puppet master. They present data, a jab, a leg kick, a feint. Each movement is a carefully crafted packet of information designed to build a predictable pathway in the opponent's brain. A cognitive trap. They are teaching the opponent's subconscious to run a specific defensive software. Threat detected at low level, deploy block. Threat detected at mid-level, deploy parry. This conditioning is crucial because it reduces the opponent's processing load. They no longer have to think, they simply react. And in that automated reaction, the trap is sprung. The illusionist shows them a ghost, a feint to the body they have been conditioned to fear. The defensive software runs automatically, deploying a block to a threat that doesn't exist. For a quarter of a second, the pathway to the central processor, the head, is left completely undefended. The firewall is down, the system is exposed, the ghost in the machine has done its work. Now, the algorithm calls for the construction of the weapon. Power does not come from muscle. That is a common and dangerous misconception. Muscle is merely the vessel. True power is drawn from a far more fundamental source. The universe itself. It begins with the earth. A connection. The pivot of the foot is an act of communion with the ground, drawing up a seismic wave of kinetic energy through the anchor of the leg. This raw terrestrial power travels upwards into the forge. The hips. Here, in a cathedral of spinning bone, the energy is multiplied in an act of rotational fury. This is torque, the language of creation and destruction. The non-kicking arm acts as a perfect counterbalance, a gyroscope ensuring that every joule of energy is focused and directed. The core is a containment field, a biomechanical corset of diamond-hard muscle that prevents the system from tearing itself apart. It channels the inferno from the hips into the final stage, the delivery system. And the kicking leg, it is almost passive. It is a projectile in a particle accelerator boosted at every stage. It is the end of a trebuchet's arm. It is the final devastating note in a symphony of force transfer. A hyper-efficient system of levers and pulleys transforming the human body from flesh and bone into a weapon. A weapon that is now traveling at nearly 40 miles per hour. And it is about to deliver a single devastating packet of data. The next 10 milliseconds are the event horizon, the point of no return. The collision is not just bone on bone, it is an information assault. The shin, a sharpened instrument of dense cortical bone, impacts the mandible. The jaw is a biomechanical flaw, a lever that bypasses the skull's natural defenses, amplifying and transferring the rotational acceleration directly to the brain case. The skull is snapped sideways at a force exceeding 500 Gs. But the brain, with its own inertia, remains momentarily suspended in cerebrospinal fluid. It then slams into the unyielding wall of the skull. The coup, a shockwave of trauma. But it's the rebound that is most devastating. The brain ricochets, a wave of tissue hitting the opposite side of the skull. The contre-coup. In this violent dual impact, a deeper trauma occurs. Axonal shearing. The very connections between the neurons, the wiring of consciousness itself, are stretched to the breaking point and tear. This physical tearing triggers a neurochemical tempest, a panic flood of the neurotransmitter glutamate. It is a DDoS attack from within. The system is overwhelmed with signals, with errors, with pure chaotic noise. The brain is quite literally screaming itself into silence. And in the face of this catastrophic, self-destructive cascade, the oldest, most primitive part of our operating system makes a decision. The brainstem, the guardian of our survival, activates the ultimate fail-safe. It cannot stop the storm, so it does the only thing it can. It cuts the power. It is not sleep. It is not unconsciousness. It is an emergency system halt. A forced, silent, lonely reboot. The fencing response is a final, haunting signal from the machine, a neurological echo from a pilot who has already been ejected. So we arrive back at our question. What is a perfect moment? Perhaps it is this, a moment of beautiful, terrible symmetry, a complex intellectual puzzle solved with a sudden and definitive physical answer, an act of aggression that triggers an elegant biological act of self-preservation. It is the art of the illusionist, the science of the physicist, and the tragedy of the machine pushed beyond its limits. You didn't just watch a knockout. You witnessed the absolute outer limit of human design. A brief, violent glimpse of the algorithm that governs us all. And the code, once seen, can never be forgotten.